So, I think that groundswell may swallow up Swalwell.
Very nice. You were very proud of that
Like
one.
that?
Good for you.
I like that.
Right now, welcome to the Predicted Podcast. I'm Jacob Studwell. I'm here with Garth Yuckham. Garth, we're back, and there are a lot of things to discuss. We've got Iran. We've got Maine. We've got hurricane season. We've got Hungary.
Jurassic El Nino.
Amazing. Stick around. We'll get to all of it.
We'll get to all of it.
Let's jump right to California. I'll go out of order a little bit because that is the breaking news, and it's slowly but quickly materializing. Right? It was basically like, there are whispers on the Hill. People kind of know. Swalwell's got some skeletons in his closet. Then there were public accusations. The floor essentially fell out from under him. He had every endorsement pulled back within days. Staffers writing massive letters saying, we support the women, we support the accusations. In our time, things go so quickly that it's hard to kind of look back and say, what was the actual straw that broke the camel's back for him to back out. But it was almost like he couldn't have those serious conversations with whoever he needed to actually back out before, he made the decision. But it was clear from the jump. Traders instantly flocked away from him. I think they first thought, okay, let's just even up Swalwell and Steyer, and maybe they'll both be 30 cents, and then everybody else will kind of fledge away. But as the endorsements started to retract, the bottom fell out from under him, and all the traders flocked to Steyer. So the question of the day, and we have markets on both, if Tony Gonzalez and Eric Swalwell will leave the House before May. Will they both be expelled? It's a 2/3 majority. It's hard to get a read on, are the numbers there? And it'd be weird if there was a split here. Republicans obviously have a few more seats, so I guess it's more likely that Swalwell will be expelled, but not by much. Do you think everyone in the chamber will kind of agree, let's clean up this mess? They've done it not too long ago with our guy in Long Island.
George Santos.
Santos, who just got out not too long ago, the pardon from Trump. But it does feel overwhelming enough that Gonzalez and Swalwell will kind of be swept out immediately, right?
I think Swalwell has a better chance of being swept out than Gonzalez for whatever reason. Maybe there'll be the groundswell as you're suggesting. I don't know. It's 2/3 is a lot of votes.
That's a lot.
Technically, okay, there are investigations into Swalwell. I think Gonzalez doesn't have there isn't the same legal recourse that he's facing as opposed to the moral recourse. And if the New York Times was reporting that Bragg was already the district attorney in Manhattan was already doing an investigation. DHS is looking into him for a nanny. And there was one other investigation in Alameda, I think. Mm-hmm. So the 3 investigations, if you will, 2 of the more potentially criminal side in a slightly different way regarding sexual assault.
And by the way, Alvin Bragg has never seen a headline that he doesn't want to jump on.
Of course
the most activist ever. It is crazy, but keep on.
Yeah, I know. So I think that groundswell may swallow up Swalwell.
Very nice. You were very proud of that one. Good for you.
I like that.
Right now, traders have Tony Gonzalez 37% chance of being voted out or leaving the House before May. So we have a timeline for both of these. It's got to be in the next month and a half. Swalwell's at 82 cents. So traders are on the same page as you. They think Swalwell is much more likely to be voted out. What's weird is that I actually think the Tony Gonzalez story is a much more tragic story with a worse ending, and we've got evidence of 2 different staffers now. So maybe it is just the numbers, and maybe Tony Gonzalez has more allies here, but it's a weird situation all over the place. I expect
You know,
both of them to be out,
but
so maybe we buy on that 37 cents for Tony Gonzalez.
but I feel like Democrats eat their own faster than Republicans will, and I think that'll play a small factor into this, with especially
Yeah.
with the House having a Republican majority.
Hmm.
And it just feels a little different. And Swalwell doesn't have that many friends.
Hmm.
He has made a lot of enemies, especially on the Republican side, as chief antagonist of Donald Trump. And so, I mean, that would be the other side. I think you could make that argument that Swalwell might get some recourse from Democrats just despite Donald Trump,
Right.
but at the same time, they do like to eat their own. So
Yeah, they keep these things differently in their heads pretty
yeah.
clearly. And I mean, poor Al Franken, his name just comes up at the worst times because you have Democratic lawmakers just saying, no, it's different from Al Franken. They have to like mention his name. Poor Al. I mean, just gets dragged through the mud. The worst situations come up.
Every
And
single
they're
time.
just like, no, he just like made a little joke. It wasn't like it wasn't what Swalwell did. I mean, it's not at all. Let's talk about the state of the California race now, though. So I was saying traders are all over Tom Steyer, 56%. I just don't get it. Like Tom Steyer has never had momentum in any political race he's ever been in. So I get that, like, all right, you got to fill him in with the second most leading vote getter or poll getter. Obviously, got to be a Democrat here. Tom Steyer has money. I'm just not seeing the momentum. And when Tom Steyer is on the stage, so we've got a next star debate on April 22nd. So that's coming up really,
Mm-hmm.
really quickly. We have 9 days. Then there's a CNN debate eligibility window that closes on April 27th. So it's basically like, did you do enough in the debate, the first debate, to
Yeah.
make the second debate? Then we've got another debate, a CBS one on April 28th, right after that
Yep.
eligibility window closes. May 5th is the CNN debate, and then June 2nd, basically a month after, is primary day. So the question is Tom Steyer actually the front runner here? I think traders just didn't really know where to put their money, and Tom Steyer kind of got run up, but I don't see Tom Steyer as the runaway favorite.
I mean, he jumped 30 cents. I mean, what's also wild is that Hilton lost money. Traders moved Hilton down from 8 cents to 6 cents as Steyer would go up 30 cents, even though he got Trump's endorsement on Monday. And granted, the California Republican Party didn't endorse Hilton in the same way. Um, so, I mean, I find that a little bit fascinating that really Hilton in traders' minds he's a nothing. And I think it really just comes down to the fact that Steyer has a lot of money and is got the most name recognition
Yeah.
because he ran for president in the market. And personality wise, I mean, people aren't going to back they're not going to back up Porter. Mahan, nobody's heard of.
Well, the Mahan thing I think is the X factor here
He
because
is, yeah.
we said there's 3 debates. So there are 3 big opportunities all going to be on television, widely seen. I think with the
Yep,
Swalwell story, these debates are going to be even larger. So I think there is actually room for somebody to have a moment, have
sure.
a clip go viral, and kind of run that up and down. I like the mention for Steve Hilton. You can buy him at 8 cents right now, and he's led most of the polling.
Mm-hmm.
So Steve Hilton, while I do not think a Republican is going to win, I do like the buy at 7 or 8 cents if this becomes some kind of backlash to Democrats. Gavin Newsom said he's not getting involved, which feels a little weird considering, I don't know, just the other presidential candidates getting involved in every other race they can. And Gavin's like, no,
I
but
mean,
in the governor's
but
race.
he's like, I'm washing my hands of this.
Yeah.
This is a complete mess. I'm not touching this. Which, granted, considering what has happened this weekend, makes some
He's
sense.
He's right, but he's the leader of the California Democratic Party. This is the least
Yeah,
leader thing to do, is just be
but this
like,
is a
nah, I'm out.
but this is a dumpster fire. It's a dumpster
It's
fire.
dumpster fire. I know.
I mean,
It's terrible. Do we think Bianco could drop out and endorse Hilton maybe after the first debate or something like that? I think
perhaps. Yeah.
that, and that will have a challenge for Democrats if we still have Porter, Mahan. I think it's Mahan, right? Is that how you pronounce it?
I
I'm
think
so
so.
bad with pronunciations. Mahan and Steyer. You've got three Democrats. If you kind of whittle down the Republican lane, maybe Hilton Bianco combo can get up to 40%. That's kind of what the polling math shows you. I look, I think right now the best buy is Steyer no at 46 cents. It's a little expensive, but this way you don't really have to worry about it. But has anyone ever seen Steyer be charismatic, interesting, get
No.
votes all on his own without buying them? Like, this is not
No.
an
No.
interesting political candidate. So I get the traders kind of were like, what do we do? What do we do, Steyer? But there's a lot of
Yeah.
time to go. There's three high profile debates. I like Mahan, but if you don't like Mahan, just pick your guy, or just say I don't think it's going to be that guy about Steyer.
Right. Right. But Steyer still is a billionaire and has lots of money. Like I swear to God, I just did a quick Google search just for fun.
Yeah.
California governor polling, and what was the very first thing I got served? Steyer for governor.
Right.
That was the above everything else. So he's
It's
definitely
a good
plunking down
insight
some
into
cash.
what everybody else will see. Everybody else is going
Yeah.
to search that same thing, and they're going to see Steyer first because he's paying for it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's super fair. All right, let's move over to the president, the administration, the war. But really, all eyes are on the vice president these days. He's had a rough go of it. Poor JD. He's expecting another child, right? He has to fly to Islamabad. He has to hold talks with Jared and Steve, who are much more important than JD in the president's eyes. You know that Trump is probably calling Kushner and Witkoff first before he calls JD to see what happened.
Definitely. I mean, the guy doesn't want to be there. He's the most reluctant, and he's like, Donald was like, "Oh, I got a job for you. Let's fly to Pakistan, and on the way, stop in Hungary. It's a win-win, I promise."
Okay, the president wants to go to Miami, and he wants to watch some UFC. Okay, let's be clear about exactly what happened here.
Well, I think it was probably the Masters. No, he cared
more
about the Masters.
No. He went to the UFC 327 in Miami at the exact time that JD Vance was in Islamabad talking to Iran, Pakistan, dealing with everything.
I mean,
so that was an interesting look.
I spoke to my parents on Sunday in Florida, and they said the weather was lovely. So I don't blame Donald for going to Florida in April. I mean,
he was already there. He didn't even go. He was just, he's been there, you know?
He's been there. I mean, the weather's nice this time of year.
It's very nice. It's been nice here. But so poor JD, and then, after he has to do this humiliating press conference. It's funny because Trump usually just announces everything on Truth Social.
Yeah.
So it's funny that they were like, JD, you actually have to do a press conference to tell the world that you failed. You have to basically say into the microphone, I failed. And they make him do it. Disappointing. Oil price of barrel of oil goes up to $130 immediately, like everything's hitting the wall. Trump's telling UFC fighters, like, you look too beautiful. You should be a model. Why are you fighting? This is a real little clip. You should go find that. And then the president goes after the Pope.
I know.
Now remember, JD Vance is a converted Catholic, converted in 2019. Now he's going after the Pope. I mean, JD is just getting everything. It's terrible. Poor JD. I really do feel bad for the guy. He actually kind of seems like a nice man. No?
I don't know. He's got a beard. Never trust a politician with a beard.
He's got a beard. The politics and poll tracker that I follow on X, I've used the tweets a lot.
Yeah.
was just tweeting out like random politicians who had a beard for like 5 seconds. So one of them was like Mitt Romney. Like Mitt Romney looks very weird with a beard, you know?
Oh
Like people
man.
you know without beards had a beard for like 5 seconds.
Right.
But Ted Cruz looks good with a beard. I think he looks much better with a beard
It's a new.
without it.
It's like it's a new phase. Yeah, he's bearded Cruz is better than non-bearded Cruz.
He's growing up. He's growing up.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so I guess my point in recapping JD's weekend is to say that I would probably buy up every single JD Vance no contract there is. I don't know how you come back from this, and I say it as a joke, but I also say it 100% seriously. If you look at the U.S. presidential election winner, you can buy no for 77 cents. Obviously, super expensive. That's probably your safest bet, but it's very, very expensive. If you go to the Republican nominee for president, just
Yes, 40
search
cents. 40 cents for JD.
40 cents for no JD. No, 40 cents
No,
for
40 for
JD. So
yes.
so then
Yeah.
you can pay 61 cents for the no on JD.
Yep.
Also a solid buy. There might be a few other places where you can fade JD, but I wrote about this not that long ago. I mean, if you look at what happened to Mike Pence,
Hmm.
and you start to understand that Trump likes to just throw crap on the person below him, and that's what the
Yep.
VP is to him.
Sure.
You have to understand that Marco's going to come out of this looking like a boat of roses. He was not told to go to Islamabad. I don't know where Marco was. He
That's a
actually
great.
was probably in Miami with
He was
Trump.
definitely
Let's
in
be
Miami. He
honest.
was
Yeah,
definitely in
you're
Miami.
right. Exactly.
It's not just JD that any vice president. The Biden administration effectively locked up Kamala Harris for a year, and then made her the border czar. I mean, like that's kind of the same thing.
That was awesome.
I
That was
mean,
really a good choice on their part. They were like,
I'm
we know that this is not a
so
job for
so
anybody.
maybe that's the buy opportunity. If you're the vice president, you used to have a fast track to the White House. Nowadays, it's the job you don't want. You
Right.
are
You have a
just
fast
going to
track to
be,
a book deal, a book tour. That's
and
that's
that's
your
about it.
fast track.
That's about it.
That's it. That's it. That's where it leads. You can get good speaking fees and such. It's Al Gore's like still around. You could still like kind of be around and hanging out, but you, you're not getting the
Kind,
keys. I don't know how Biden got the keys. Like, I don't know how he did it, but I guess Biden wasn't really saddled with anything during the Obama administration, right?
not
What did he
really.
do? What was his job when?
I think you just schmoozing people on Capitol
Yeah,
Hill.
wear aviators. Like, I think that
Yeah,
was the job.
yeah. He was Uncle Joe.
Yeah, look like a cool old guy.
Yeah,
Like that was your job.
yeah. He was
It,
harmless.
yeah. It was kind of like I don't know, make Obama like
Look more grown up.
human. Yeah, more grown up. That's what it was. Yeah. So
Yeah,
make him a little more sophisticated.
yeah.
Like he wasn't
He's got supervision in the
40.
White House.
All right, amazing. Let's move on. I want to discuss. So let's talk about the Iran approval tracker. Just an
Hmm.
FYI, that market expires tomorrow. We'll put up a
Yep.
new one. Right now, it looks like the highest rung is going to be
40.6.
40.6 or higher. It's at 57 cents.
Yep.
It's pretty close. I think it's at 40.8 right now on Real
40.8.
Clear Politics. So you're basically hoping for another pull drop before the end of tomorrow, and you could probably get in that 15-cent rung
Well, I
here.
mean, I think it's an interesting thing that you brought that up. I mean, because obviously talks have stalled, and there's a blockade this morning, and things are less happy. But the polls aren't going to capture the less happy. They're going to capture happy, and we have
Yeah.
a peace deal. So I think that's this is that lag in polling
Yep.
that prediction markets don't technically have. So it's really kind of interesting to see that divide in situations like this, because we know that right now everything was happy, now it's not.
Right. Everyone was like, "Oh, we got a deal. It was great."
Yeah.
By the way, is the deal? There's no deal on paper,
No,
right?
not
Which is
that I'm aware
very
of.
awkward. So the deal technically runs out in 8 days on the 21st, but there's no actual deal. So
Yeah,
I guess just
I'm
keep
not
in mind the
certain
days.
on documentation, because I don't they didn't parade any piece of paper around. Like,
Right.
we signed the
Right.
deal. It's more of like a, we signed the deal to talk about the deal.
Right. Right. It was more like, let's just pencil in this block of
Yeah,
meetings. There wasn't like there was like,
like
hey,
on
I sent you
Teams.
a calendar invite. That was the deal.
No, no, you blocked it out so you could actually get some work done. That's what you do on Teams.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I actually really like your point about the lag. 40.6 or higher is at 58 cents. You can
Yeah,
legitimately buy that at 58 cents. I think it's a
yeah,
great buy because you're right. We're going to get back polls that were conducted, mid last week essentially,
yeah.
and those should all be positive. Everyone should all be like,
Agreed.
"Great, we got a ceasefire. We're, no one's sending anywhere anybody." Yeah. I don't know about the blockade though. Is the blockade a real blockade or is it a statement blockade, if you will?
Believe it's a actual blockade. The U.S. Navy is blocking out certain areas. Iran has
Okay,
responded by saying that they will attack various ports um,
got got it.
because of our
Okay,
blockade.
got
So
it.
it's
We've done
again
the radar
tit for tat.
tracking. We appreciate you, Garth, for doing the tracking the blockade. I thought it was a blockade in name only, you know,
Mm-mm.
uh, a Beano, if you will, but it wasn't. Okay, it's a real blockade. Got it. Got it. Got it. All right, let's move over to Trump's approval, and right now he's at 37.7% approve. The net is plus 21 disapprove. So what I really wanted to talk about here was this hurricane season report that I think actually could like affect things long term. People were saying, people like to throw out Bush's Katrina, right? They basically say, approval really hit rock bottom right after Katrina. That was Bush's big flaw. And they like to say, like, oh, Iran is Trump's Katrina. But I don't think that's necessarily true. I think it's very much slowly trickled down. There hasn't been one large thing that kind of blew up his approval rating. Now we have a what is being called a Jurassic El Nino. I'm not a weather expert. My father is, so I get it kind of vicariously through him. But the El Nino is typically basically like what causes hurricane season. We're seeing an extreme El Nino, which people are calling a Jurassic El Nino. I don't know if that's because it looks like it was from the Jurassic period. That's how extreme it is.
Yep.
Or we just like to throw out fun names. But if a major hurricane hits while President Trump is dealing with Iran foreign affairs strictly, I think that can be the straw that broke the camel's back with Trump's approval, and that's what's going to drop us down much closer to 30%. And we talked about this weeks ago. How do we get to that 30% number? He's already started to kind of decline, although I think it will probably buoy right around this 40% number. But if we see some kind of major domestic incident, and if it is a hurricane, a little on the nose there with the George Bush comparison, but I want to flag out because you have to look at everything from all angles. And one of the angles is weather. Weather is one of those things that we all live in that we can't
Yep.
control. It just kind of happens, then we have to deal with it. So I think look out for hurricane season. We're months away. We're months away. We got some months. We got some time to prepare.
Yep.
It's going to start a little soon, but I mean, you're a Floridian. Tell me about
I'm a
hurricanes. Go
Florida.
ahead. I don't know anything.
I mean, I'm just lucky I grew up in Tampa. We
Right.
didn't have a direct hit since like 1914, but it's getting closer and closer the last couple years. I know my parents flew back in right after a hurricane and then got another hurricane. What was that, 2 years ago? Yeah, it's really kind of. I mean, Florida's great, but I would never live there now because of the hurricanes. It's just
Right.
constant
It's
uncertainty.
worse. Yeah.
It's
It's worse and
way
worse.
worse.
Yeah.
It's way worse.
All right,
This is
beautiful.
like,
All right, let's quickly move on. There wasn't too much to discuss. I just wanted to mention the Jurassic. I just wanted
hurricane
to
season.
say Jurassic El Nino. Really is why I brought it up. All
That's
right, all right.
fair.
Let's end with Maine. We've got lots to talk about with Janet Mills and Graham Plattner, which is funny because nothing's really happened. Even though we have a lot to talk about, nothing's actually happened. She did back out of a scheduled debate, always a terrible sign when you're down by 30-ish points. I see the Emerson poll had Plattner at 55%, Mills at 28%, 33-point margin in a Maine People's Resource Center poll. There's just every single poll is basically ranging from the mid 20s to the mid to high 30s of a margin. Graham Plattner. When is Mills going to drop out? I don't even think it's an if. I think it's a when at this point.
Yeah, it does not look good. Like really not good. I mean, just even the pricing. I mean, the traders. It's like the writing is on the wall. We've got what month and change, month and a half until the primary, and we're at 92.5. I mean, yikes.
That's more certain than, again, like a Mamdani win. And
Yeah,
I like to compare it because Mamdani like didn't really get above 90 cents. Traders were
no,
so sure
yeah,
that Plattner's going to win. And that was what Ethan said, like basically a month and a half ago. If you listen to the show, you will get good tips. Ethan said, buy, 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 buy. And I posted it on Shorts. It was about at 80 cents at that point. You're
yeah.
making numbers and you're cushy right now. I mean, people holding yes Plattner are not sweating. They're not sweating
No,
in any way, shape, or form.
no. We got 100,000 shares in that market, and Plattner's sitting at 92. I mean, Mamdani, that's a great reference because he was like hovering 80 cents, 85. Everybody worried that the
Right.
establishment would walk in and say something, and Mills is like the governor. So
Literally, the active sitting governor. That's what's weird about the polling numbers. Like,
it's like, wow. They're like, we're done with you. We're
that's
done.
it. It's a showing Mills the door. It's like,
It
hey,
is.
great, love you, but
Nah, not for
it's time.
this.
It's time. So I think it's got to come from Schumer. I think that's what it's got to. It's got to come from the main bag. It's got to come from DCCC, DSC, DSCC. Oh my God, alphabet soup. It's got to come from the actual Senate committee. It's got to come from Schumer to say, "Hey, it's time. We gotta back it
But is
up."
is is Mills even putting up a fight?
Not that I see. There's basically some negative ads that aren't working, and like
That's
really
about
just
it.
throwing cooked spaghetti at a dartboard. I mean, there's nothing there. There's just
No, nothing.
what is gonna stick here.
Yeah. So
I feel like she should just run ads at this point. This is like, guys, I'm the governor. Like, I don't know if you know that, but he's an oyster farmer. I'm a governor. Maybe that'll work. You just gotta
maybe
kind of ratchet up the
switch it up.
desperateness, you know?
Yeah. For Senate, I am the governor. It's just
I'm
done.
literally the governor of your state. Yeah, it's tough. There's not really an angle here in terms of
No.
market buying or anything at all. Especially when you look at Maine, the actual general. We see Democrat. He's got 83 cents right now. He costs in the general.
No.
That is way too high. That actually might be a call to buy Susan Collins and the Republican side of
I
this thing
think so too.
because far too high. You
Definitely.
can get Susan Collins at 27 cents, solid buy. You could probably ride that up to it'll at least get up to 45 cents at some point late in this contest. If we get to like September, October, I guess
Yeah.
people are really scared about this war. I don't expect it to last through the midterms. I'd be shocked if we're still talking about, JD
No,
and
it can't.
Islamabad
It
come
can't.
October. I
It
agree.
can't.
I don't think it can. So
It
it's a good
can't.
time to buy across the board. I just saw Cook Political basically switched up a bunch of their races and kind of move things in the Democrats' direction. I think this is a good marker to start buying a few Republican candidates. You'll be able to ride them up when things actually start to get competitive and people start to get a little antsy and basically start to say, is it going to be this easy for Democrats and this hard of a map? So buy Susan Collins at 27 cents. Buy I was gonna say Watley, but we know your opinions on Watley. Don't buy Watley. Never mind.
Don't buy
Forget
Watley.
about Watley.
Don't buy Watley.
There are some other options. Thank you very much for hopping on. It'll be
always.
Garth and I for a bunch more weeks going forward until I'm actually going to Peru. Funny enough, with the election, I'm going to Peru in like a month. So it'll be Garth and me through that essentially, and then we'll have one guest in May. But thanks everyone for listening to the Predicted Podcast. Follow us on X at Predicted Pod, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on youtube.com/@PredictedOfficial. Garth, any closing notes?
No, but you could report from the ground in Peru ahead of the runoff.
I will. Actually, that's a great idea. I'm going to do that. Okay. Stay tuned for my report on the ground. All right. Beautiful.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks.